Let's find some day trades, swing trades, and option trades. Good morning, traders. It is Monday, July 13th. We are about 2.5 hours into trading right now. Market has had a very, very steady rally. So let's take a look at what's going on a intraday basis, and then let's zoom out. We had this nice gap higher, tails above body, stock trying to get in and take out this low right in here. And we had a 10P bearish cross. Usually this is going to be influenced by the prior day, so you have to take the first half hour reading with a grain of salt. I did short in here. I took a 1 point loss on the SPY. You can see how once we got through the high of the day, we had nice, solid price action higher. We had a bullish cross in there, and the market has continued to move higher. Now, I did take a couple of shorts. FSLY was a really nice one. I scratched the other trade. So I was looking for a little bit of a pullback this morning off of a relative high. That's been a fairly common pattern that we've seen. When you get a new relative high and you get these gaps up, typically that bid is tested and you will see some selling. The fact that we did not get any selling and that we were able to move higher tells me that the strength of this rally is actually quite good today. Now, it's taking place on low volume, so you have to keep that in mind. And you can see how we went up to the high, pulled back a little bit. Now we're trying to pull back again. We've got a bearish 10P cross, but nothing much because you can see how it's waffling back and forth. We like to see these nice, big, defined moves like that cross and that cross and that cross. No back and forth in it, just nice, big crosses are indicative that there will be sustained directional movements. But right now, we're just kind of chopping around in here. This was a big move up, so I'm expecting us, if one scenario plays out, we're going to be able to hold this bid right in here, and we'll see another challenge of the high and a little bit of a pullback probably 2 hours before the close. In that event, if we can stay close to the high of the day right now, we're going to see a nice strong closing rally, and who knows, we could even challenge some pretty major resistance at SPY 323.50. Now, we were only about a point and a half away from that, or $1.50 away from that on the SPY earlier. Now we're closer to 2 points away from it, but that's nothing. That's a 20-point S&P rally. You can see that resistance right here. We've got earnings season coming up. There's the resistance right there, and that is our 323.50 level. That is a formidable resistance level. We've got banks announcing earnings this week. I think the sector is going to see some really soft bottom line price action because you've got write-downs that are going to be taking place. You have a struggling economic recovery, which doesn't bode well for the next quarter. Might be seeing some credit concerns on a personal debt level. We have 0% interest rates right now. That's going to weigh on these stocks as well. So we did get a little bit of a rally last Friday on some of the financials, and I had pointed that out. We did great on Goldman Sachs Friday. We had a lotto play in there. We had Morgan Stanley. All those stocks look good, but you can see today they're really not doing much. And Morgan Stanley has been one of the stronger stocks, but if I put up Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase, you can see that they really have not rallied very much. They have been laggards for the market. So as a sector, I don't believe you're going to see a big movement either way that's going to have a market impact. I think that bad news is priced in, and I think they're going to deliver some pretty bad news. I also think that investors are going to be a little bit concerned that the guidance is soft, and they're going to be downplaying everything. Very cautious outlook with the coronavirus increasing. And right now, we've got a lot of states that are in phase 3 yet, and those states account for 40% of U.S. GDP. Houston's even talking about going back to a complete shutdown. So these are not good signs for the overall economy. Hopefully, the virus stops spreading, and then we can start to gain some traction in August and September. I still see that as fairly unlikely. So, as far as the market is concerned, I believe that we have a chance to challenge this high at, let's go with 324 on the SPY. There's a lot of optimism built into mega cap tech earnings, and almost all of them report in July. A lot of them on July 30th. So once that happens, I think the air gets let out of the balloon. We head into August. Washington, D.C. goes into recess. Everyone gets nervous when there's no one there to mind the shop. Plus, you've got some stimulus that's going to be running out. We're going to need additional stimulus. If everybody is in recess, there's no chance of another bill getting passed. If the coronavirus continues to accelerate and spread and weigh on the economic growth, I think we're set up for a nice round of profit taking as we get into the middle or the end of August. September, I think, is also setting up to be weak, especially if Joe Biden has a commanding lead in the polls, which he currently does, and he's already stated that he's going to be repealing some of the Trump tax cuts. So enjoy the rally. Be very, very cautious in here. I feel like we're treading on thin ice, and we have very little exposure right now. We have been selling out of the money bullish put spreads. For those of you who watched the video last night, I'm going to put up SPCE. We were able to sell those out of the money naked puts. And to members, I also suggested that we could go in and we could sell a bullish put spread keying off that 200-day moving average, selling the September 31st $15 puts, buying the September 31st $14 puts, and doing that for a 20-cent credit. We were able to get that credit this morning. So right now, the trade looks pretty good. I think it's still the stock is just going to move back and forth sideways, but I believe that this horizontal support is strong enough to shoulder the stock even if the market does pull back a bit. But to me, the stock actually looks fairly strong because we've had this nice volume here and we have this horizontal resistance level. If the stock can get through that price point, I think this sets up well for day trading from the long side. What do I do with that? I click GTC alert. I double click on the top of that candle right there. And now, if that price point is breached, I will get a pop-up alert on my screen. So we had a really nice trade today that came up on the bullish explosion alert, and it's one that I want to show you, LVS. And you can see here how the stock rallied through that 100-day moving average. Let's put up the 5-minute chart. We got that alert right in here. You can see the massive volume spike right there and the long green candle. We're breaking through horizontal resistance. I got long there, took $1 profit on it. Stock has been pulling back a little bit. Macau is no longer in quarantine, so the casinos are back open. This should bode well for LVS, should also bode well for WYNN, Wynn Resorts. So LVS looks pretty good to me here, and it might set up well for an out-of-the-money bullish put spread. Check the earnings date here. We've got earnings coming out on 7/22, so we should be able to get one trade off there. It's not enough time. We're not going to get enough credit. I would like to sell below this support. You can see this is a double bottom, higher low. That's also pretty good. And you can lean on that $44 price point, but with the stock currently at $49, we're not going to get much. It's $5 out of the money with a few days left. I'm not even going to look at that spread. But I think the stock does set up well for some day trading from the long side. So how would I approach that? I would click alert. I would click that right there. And I would click that right there. And now I've got a downward sloping trend line. When the stock does finally get through that downward sloping trend line, it might be in a position to grind higher, put up wind, see what that's doing. Wynn, you can see, has actually been able to hold its gains much better. It's right near the high of the day, so it looks pretty dang good. And you can also see, same thing, double bottom, higher low right here, and through the 100-day moving average. So Wynn also looks pretty good. There you've got earnings on 8/4, so you've got another option expiration that you could lean on. And here you'd need to go fairly far out of the money, though, and somewhere around that $67 level. I'm having a problem right now with the overall market. If I start going through this heavy buying list right here, look at these stocks. Tesla. Now, come on. I can't buy that. Not as a trader. I cannot get behind that move. That train has left the station. That's okay. Let's look at Amazon. Huh. Another one. Right through this upward sloping channel here. So if you visually draw this line and visually draw this line, that's an upward sloping channel. We're way through the upper end of it. To me, Stock looks very overextended. I'm not going to chase anything. Here's another one, Netflix. Look at that thing absolutely fly once it got through that resistance level. I liked this last Friday. This is my stock pick Friday. It was a fantastic pick. Just kept going higher and higher. So if you got on board on that Friday, let's take a look at this. This is about when the video came out right in here. And this is what the stock has done ever since. So from the time the video came out, the stock was probably around, let's call it 530. Now the stock is at 566. So a 36-point rally since the Friday video. Had a lot of members who got on this for a lotto trade on Friday and made an absolute killing at it. But look at that. Look at Netflix. Look at how much that's run. Okay, well, let's go to Apple. Let's just go to the next one, see what that's doing. Another one that's going parabolic. Well, the heck with this. We could go through this list and find stocks like this all day long that are way overextended. Let's take a broader look. Aha! QQQ, also looking very overextended. Let's click the trend line here, and let's drop a trend line here, and let's connect the top right there. And we could do the same on the lower side here. We're going to draw this upward sloping trend line that actually forms a channel right in there. It's not a perfect line with some of these tails moving through, but you can see that's the upward sloping channel, and you can see how the QQQ has now poked through it. I don't think this is going to have a lot of legs to it. Once those mega cap tech earnings start coming out, I think you're going to see some selling in the QQQ, and it's going to come back into this channel, and that timeline coincides with what I'm looking at in August. So again, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm still bullish. I like earnings releases. I'm going to be playing post earnings and looking to sell out of the money bullish put spreads, but I'm going to be very conservative in doing that because I feel that we're going to be heading for trouble mid to late August, and I do not want to be managing losing positions and having to reel them in. I want to be watching for opportunities. I may even buy puts late August into September because we've rallied so hard that I think that there is some pretty decent downside right now. Option implied volatilities have come in pretty dramatically, so we can start considering some premium buying. And you can see this is the VXX. You can see how it's been drifting lower and lower. We may have to do some bearish put spreads, buy some bearish put spreads. That may be the approach that I use. Until then, I'm just going to let the market float higher. I'm going to participate very, very passively, and I'll be watching for signs of resistance. So today I have been trading. I found a few nice longs, but I'm not going to tell you that I've been making a lot of money today. I really haven't. I just can't get behind this move right now. HD looked quite good. I like that breakout through this horizontal resistance line. You can see the downward sloping trend line that it broke through. Now it's moving higher. It's ready to challenge the all-time high. Pepsi was nice, and that came up on one of our after earnings searches, and you can see it's got this little downward sloping trend line right here, and that's actually a channel that it's been able to break out above. That's good. It's above the 200-day moving average. It announced earnings today, so I'm going to show you a bullish put spread that I did a little while ago. I sold. I want to be below this 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average comes in at 134.36. So I sold the 134 puts and I bought the 133 puts, and I did that for a credit of 12 cents, and that spread expires Friday. So why would I do that spread? Well, I believe that this low of the day on that 200-day moving average is going to hold. The stock is currently at 137.50, so I've got about 3.5 points of cushion. Pepsi does not move a whole lot. It's broken above this downward sloping trend line, so that'll be the first support that I'll be watching, which brings me into about the 136 level. So if it breaks below 136, I'll watch it a little bit more closely. And if it looks like it's going to come down and test that 200-day moving average, that's kind of where I'll have my stop. But I'm not looking for that to happen. I think the market's going to be decent all week. I think the stock's going to continue to grind higher. And by selling those options for 12 cents, I'm looking at approximately a 15% return in a matter of 5 days. And it's a high probability trade because I'm selling those out of the money and I have a nice strong tailwind with that earnings report that was just released this morning. They posted a very solid number. So, coronavirus or not, people are still buying Pepsi products, Frito-Lay products. So, I like that trade. That one made sense to me. I'm not overreaching, I'm not chasing, and I'm taking advantage of accelerated time premium decay this week. So, those are the types of plays that we're going to be looking at. And we've got a search called After Earnings. So, these stocks have reported after the close the prior day or before the open today. And they've gapped higher on heavy volume. That's one of the first searches that I'm going to be checking as we get into earnings season. That is a fantastic, fantastic search. Right at your fingertips. You've got to get on these trades early. You cannot be fumbling around trying to find which ones are going to be the hot ones. To me, if the stock is already above the prior day's high and it's posted earnings and it's got all the volume and I see a couple of stacked long green candles, I'm not waiting. I'm getting in. And that's how I play earnings. We also take a look at earnings post earnings plays, and we want to see that strength continue, and we've got to search for that. It's called strong after earnings. And so there are some candidates right now, but this list is going to continue to grow with each day that earnings season unfolds. So this list will get bigger and bigger. We'll have more candidates to choose from. We're going to be looking for those stocks that have had very positive reactions to earnings. I'm not going gangbuster. I'm really little bit tenuous right now with where the market's at, but I know that I've got a strong tailwind in each one of these stocks because they've just recently posted good earnings announcements. So that's how I'm looking to trade it, but to keep my overall risk exposure light. And then I'm going to be looking for signs of weakness as we get into the middle of August. I'm going to be looking to see if we've got any kind of late day selling with follow through the next day. I'll be looking at the technicals on the SPY, seeing if there's an opportunity setting up. So for now, let's take a look. Let's see if we can find a couple of other good stocks. You know I like Pepsi. You know I like LVS. I think those will both do well. Not too far out of the gate. Not chasing. Going to pop bull very quickly, see what we've got here. This ARCT looks really good today. I like that breakout through that horizontal resistance on a 5-minute chart. If you caught this one early, it has just been grinding higher. BNTX came up early this morning. It was on a bullish explosion alert. That one looks pretty good. You can see that breakout right there, big gap right in here. Not a real liquid stock. INSG, beautiful little breakout right in here. This stock has been super strong today. WORK, kind of a choppy stock. Okay, you can see it moves back and forth. I don't think you have to chase it, but I do like this breakout through horizontal resistance. One test, two tests of that horizontal support level. Now we're through that resistance. Stock is on its high of the day. Yeah, this one looks pretty attractive. RH caught my attention. I like this stock because you can see how it's had tails above body right here. We're finally through that resistance. We've got an upward sloping trend line right here. I think this stock is going to be able to close above this resistance level. If it does, I'll certainly be watching it overnight for a possible day trade tomorrow. HD, I think I showed you. That looked pretty good. Cree's got a nice little pattern. CREE, you have this new relative high after a breakout. Stock gets a little ahead of itself, pulls back, establishes support, 1, 2. Now the stock is starting to move higher. It's through this horizontal resistance point. Looks pretty good. Long tail above body, not crazy about that. Gradual grind higher, so nothing too exciting. I guess the bottom line is you have to be very, very careful right now and continue to look down this list. These are a lot of the usual suspects. Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Tesla. Walmart has actually looked pretty good. You can see how it's continued to move higher. Downward sloping trend line broken. News that they're going to have a new membership type program that is similar to what Amazon's doing. Well, they're already doing it with Sam's Club, so I'm not quite sure what the difference is here, but they must have a lot of extras that they're going to be releasing. Uh, so the stock has really been able to run hard and challenge this resistance level. At this point, I'm going to need a little more information to find out why this price spike is justified. Exactly what is this membership program and what are people entitled to? But yes, Walmart has actually looked pretty good. Got SPCE down here. You can see how that's starting to move higher. If it gets through that $22 price point, I think it's going to set up very well for a day trading opportunity as well. So keep an eye on LVS, keep an eye on Pepsi. I've given you a couple of other stocks to take a look at. Don't reach, don't chase. Let those stocks go. Those trains have left the station. I feel that as we start getting into August, we're going to see some profit taking along the line here. This economic recovery is taking way too long, and I think that we're going to start seeing some credit concerns middle to back half of August. And by that time, the air will get let out of the balloon. What do I mean by that? Mega cap tech stocks will have reported. Everybody's looking for Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. They've been able to prosper during the coronavirus. Those stocks account for about 20% of the S&P 500. So the rally has been very narrowly based. So I also see that as a sign of weakness. We would want to see broad-based participation across all sectors. We haven't seen that. So that's all I've got for you today. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your notifications. And you'll also notice that there's a link in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I post my pre-open market analysis each morning, and I've also been posting an early stock trader too on Twitter as well. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.